This is Chaplain DeAnne with a message of solidarity for all Americans. May I take the liberty to address us as God's icons. The acronym ICONS celebrates our nation's diversity as only 3 types of people: immigrants, citizens, or natives. We, Americans, are one people within this great nation, the United States of America. Admittedly, as a multiculturally diverse nation, we also have numerous unresolved and complex concerns dating back hundreds of years regarding disparity, inequality, and injustices. Nevertheless, we are blessed to be a democratic nation that reverences God as the Creator, for the United States of America is indeed God's country. As a producer influenced by public access television and an immigrant from a developing world country, I must acknowledge that a primary common goal of the founding fathers of social media platforms was for the public to finally exchange information freely, namely YouTube and WhatsApp. If any of these platforms were ever meant for bad, God knows that they have also empowered the voiceless and underrepresented, starting in developed and democratic nations alike, such as here in the United States of America, Europe, India, Africa, and connecting these continents to poorer developing countries in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean regions. As a pastoral caregiver, I get some tough questions from ordinary people who feel unheard, in addition to any possible anxiety they may be experiencing. My response usually centers around a reminder for unity in prayers and, at the same time, celebrating their courage to be heard. While we are not called to fix each other, we can listen to each other. Borrowing the words of the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 12:25, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its members should have mutual concern for one another. In strengthening unity, besides freedom of speech, should we also care to show mutual concern for one another? Then any type of conversation or communication is better than none. Therefore, even if a person's expression is provocative, as a peacekeeper, it is best to refrain from appearing to be judgmental. Opinions or reactions that may seem highly offensive to someone else is justified from that person's perspective, not ours. Don't take someone's story personally. Otherwise, we can miss an opportunity to foster true unification. A person's seemingly angry delivery may hint that the person may also be crying out loudly for help or in need of healing. For even venting is a form of communication that, if heard with empathy, can lead to a breakthrough. Expressing concerns on social media can hopefully lead to 1. Healing, 2. The satisfaction of having been heard, and 3. The opportunity to get feedback from others by encouraging people to express themselves in a non-judgmental zone. We may become keener listeners and be more informed to strengthen unity and build intercultural bonds. Therefore, if when we voted, we were not in agreement with the political party that has won, come post-elections, we are Americans, indivisible by any nation and anyone. No matter who wins an election, the person who wins represents this great nation. One people and one president for the United States of America. Internationally, Americans are perceived as a people living in democracy, freedom, and liberty. Americans' lifestyles are often admired by other nationals who can only dream of words like justice and opportunity, longing to be a part of our oneness, all Americans for one America. For instance, should we travel, our nationality is simply American, not our race, culture, sexuality, or denomination. Our iconic status becomes irrelevant. Icon: immigrants, citizens, or natives. Does one care that the I for immigrants originated with migrants from Asia, the Paleo-Indian settlers, about 25,000 BC, or that the C for citizens doesn't differentiate newly naturalized citizens from generational citizens? And does one care that the N for Native Americans commenced the centuries of unresolved, massive trauma, genocide, land confiscation, land relocation, segregation, and discrimination, to name a few? Yet still, we should not feel compelled to answer such questions, be it about our peculiar history or our political affiliations with anyone abroad. Here's another unification reminder in Paul's epistle to the Corinthians. So if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. If one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. 1 Corinthians 12:26, CSV. We too are one body of America and individual members of it. Remember, there is a reason why we should always have hope. Hope because the Spirit of God lives within each humanity, making us inseparable as one. And as even the King and Psalmist David echoes in the book of Psalms 91:1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Well, at first glance, that is a seemingly conditional statement. If we do something, then we will get a thing. However, with a spiritual lens, we see that this is an unconditional absolute. The entire universe abides under the shadow of the Almighty. For example, we don't have to do anything, say anything, or be anyone special, even if we intentionally were to refuse to dwell in the secret place of the Most High. It is eternally indisputable that we are under the shadow of God's mercy. Let us continue to pray one for another, for world leaders, for our country, and for the presidential candidate who the majority of Americans vote for. For indeed, the Almighty Creator is always willing to grant the desire of our hearts. May world leaders desire peace, and may God grant Americans eternal unity